The question is whether you let it set your standard. Excellence asks for more. And if you want to become more, you must choose what is hard over what is easy, again and again, until effort becomes familiar and discipline becomes your ally. Identity is not built in moments of applause. It is not formed by bold statements or good intentions alone. Identity is built through repetition. It is shaped quietly by what you choose again and again, especially when no one is watching and there is no reward. Who you believe you are is not decided by what you hope to become, but by what you consistently do. I'm telling you, there is a simple rule at work in every life. You do not become confident by wishing for confidence. You become confident by keeping promises. You do not become disciplined by talking about discipline. You become disciplined by practicing it, especially when it is hard. Identity grows over time. It is earned by choosing difficulty on purpose, again and again. Many people try to build confidence on talent. Talent helps. It can give you an early edge. It may open doors and bring quick success. But confidence based only on talent is weak. When talent meets resistance, and resistance feels unfamiliar, doubt shows up quickly. If you depend on natural ability without building discipline, your confidence will rise and fall with your circumstances. There is another kind of confidence that is quieter but stronger. It is built on kept commitments. When you promise yourself you will wake up early and you follow through, something shifts inside. When you decide to finish a task and complete it despite being tired, something grows stronger. Each kept promise adds proof to your self-image. You begin to trust yourself. Self-respect cannot be demanded or borrowed. It cannot be bought. It is earned when your actions match your words. When you keep breaking your own promises, your self-trust weakens. Even if no one else knows, you know. And that awareness shapes how you see yourself. Your mind keeps track. Choosing difficulty on purpose is how identity is forged. When you pick what is challenging instead of what is easy, you send yourself a message. You prove that comfort does not control you. You show that your standards are not ruled by your mood. Each disciplined action strengthens the belief that says, I do what I say, I will do. There is a difference between hardship forced on you and hardship you choose. When difficulty is forced on you, you may grow, but often with frustration. When you choose difficulty, you grow with clarity. You're not just reacting to life. You are shaping yourself. Choosing strain builds inner authority. Who you become is shaped by what you willingly endure. If you avoid challenge, you stay untested. If you stay untested, you remain unsure. But when you face what is hard repeatedly, your identity becomes steady. You begin to see yourself as capable, not because someone said so, but because you proved it. Each day gives you chances to strengthen or weaken your identity. Studying when you would rather relax. Practicing when you want to delay. Speaking honestly when silence would be easier. Every small decision adds to the structure of who you are becoming. The rule is clear. Repeated chosen difficulty expands your identity. Repeated chosen comfort shrinks it. If you regularly choose effort, your limits slowly move outward. What once felt intimidating becomes manageable. What once felt overwhelming becomes normal. Your capacity grows because you have trained it through effort. Identity is not fixed. It changes daily. You are not trapped by your past. You are shaped by your repeated choices. If you choose discipline, you become disciplined. If you choose avoidance, you become hesitant. Over time, the pattern becomes the person. Weak confidence looks for praise. Strong confidence relies on proof. Proof comes from effort. When you know you have faced discomfort on purpose and stayed consistent beyond convenience, you carry yourself differently. It is not loud or showy. It is steady and certain. This steady confidence is quiet strength. It belongs to someone who is trained under pressure. It belongs to someone who kept commitments even when no one else noticed. It does not fall apart when applause disappears, because it was never built on applause. It was built on discipline. You see, an earned identity makes decisions easier. When you see yourself as someone who keeps promises, action becomes natural. You do not argue with yourself every day. You act because it matches who you have proven yourself to be. Your standards stay firm because they are backed by evidence. This law does not work through one dramatic moment. It works through small, repeated actions. One more page studied, one more repetition practiced, one expense avoided, one difficult conversation started. Alone, these actions seem small. Repeated over time, they reshape how you see yourself. When you willingly face what is demanding, you increase your strength for future challenges. Your tolerance for pressure grows. Your emotional endurance improves. Most importantly, your inner story changes. You stop seeing yourself as someone who seeks relief. You start seeing yourself as someone who seeks growth. An identity built through discipline does not shake easily. It has been tested and reinforced. It was earned. And what is earned carries weight. To refuse the easy life is to accept this rule. It means understanding that who you become is shaped by what you repeatedly choose to endure. Self-respect is not created by speeches. It is built through action. Each kept promise is a brick. Each disciplined choice is mortar. Over time, a solid structure forms. That structure is your identity. It will be built on comfort or on effort. It will be weak or strong. It will depend on talent or on discipline. The choice is made daily, not by intention alone, but by repeatedly choosing the hard path that strengthens you from the inside out. Avoidance does not look dangerous at first. It feels like relief. It gives you a way to escape pressure, delay discomfort, and put off responsibility. It tells you nothing urgent will be lost by waiting. It promises a better time, a clearer mind, a more convenient season. So you delay the decision. The problem is that the cost of avoidance is not paid right away. That is why it is so convincing. When you delay a hard task, you feel lighter for a moment. When you avoid a tough conversation, you feel calmer. When you ignore a weakness, you feel spared from embarrassment. The relief is real, but it does not last. The cost, however, keeps building. Every delayed decision stays with you. It does not disappear. It waits. And while it waits, it grows heavier. A small task turns into a big burden. A minor issue becomes a serious problem. A small weakness becomes a lasting limitation. Avoidance grows quietly, like a debt increasing in the background. There is a hidden price for choosing the easy path. You pay for it in missed opportunities. You pay in reduced ability. You pay in quiet frustration. Every time you choose short-term relief instead of long-term progress, you give up some potential. You may not see the loss today, but you will feel it later. Delayed decisions create tension inside you. You know what needs attention. You know what you have put off. Even if you distract yourself, that awareness remains. It creates a subtle dissatisfaction. You may not talk about it. You may not fully admit it, but it shapes how you see yourself. When you keep postponing goals, your resolve weakens. If you constantly tell yourself you will start later, your mind begins to doubt you. Your ambitions lose urgency. Over time, your dreams feel less important. What once felt necessary begins to feel optional. Weaknesses that you tolerate become limits. If you allow a lack of discipline to continue, it becomes your standard. If you excuse inconsistency, inconsistency becomes part of who you are. What you accept today becomes normal tomorrow, and what becomes normal shapes your future. Short-term relief often turns into long-term regret. In the moment, the delay feels harmless. What difference does one day make? What harm is there in waiting? The answer lies in repetition. One delay leads to another. One small compromise makes the next easier. Soon, it becomes a pattern. Regret usually does not explode into your life. It shows up quietly. You notice what you could have become. You see the gap between your potential and your current reality. You realize that gap was not created by one big mistake, but by many small avoidances. On the outside, avoidance limits you. Opportunities require preparation. Responsibilities require readiness. If you keep choosing ease, you may not be ready when opportunity arrives. The chance appears, but you lack the skill. The door opens, but you lack the discipline, and it passes. On the inside, avoidance weakens you. Each time you step back from difficulty, your self-trust fades. You begin to doubt your reliability. You hesitate to commit because you remember how often you postponed before. Others may not see this, but it shapes your confidence. Here's what avoidance does. It makes fear grow. When you delay facing something, it grows in your imagination. What could have been manageable becomes intimidating. What might have required effort now feels overwhelming. The longer you wait, the larger it seems. The easy path often sounds harmless. It says, you can do this later. It says, you deserve a break. It says, there is no rush. But time keeps moving. Situations change. Others move ahead. The task you postponed is still undone. There is another cost that is easy to miss. Avoidance slows growth. Growth happens when you face resistance. When you choose relief instead, you miss the chance to get stronger. Muscles weaken without use. Skills fade without practice. Courage shrinks when it is not exercised. By choosing avoidance, you choose limitation. You stay within what feels manageable right now. You do not expand your ability. You do not stretch your endurance. You stay inside familiar boundaries. And familiar boundaries rarely lead to progress. The longer avoidance continues, the harder it is to correct. Habits settle in. Patterns become normal. Your identity adjusts. You start seeing yourself as someone who delays, someone who waits for better conditions. That belief shapes your next choice and keeps the cycle going. Avoidance is not always obvious laziness. Sometimes it looks like distraction. Sometimes it looks like small indulgences. Sometimes it hides behind excuses. You tell yourself the timing is not right, that you need more preparation, that you need more clarity, so you wait. But clarity often comes after action, not before it. Momentum is built by moving, not by thinking alone. Waiting for perfect conditions leads to stagnation. Avoiding effort shrinks your ability. Refusing the easy life means confronting delay instead of defending it. It means seeing the real cost of putting things off. Comfort now often creates limits later. Acting when it is uncomfortable is not just about finishing tasks. It is about protecting who you could become. Every time you handle something difficult instead of postponing it, you interrupt the pattern. You replace regret with momentum. You replace frustration with confidence. You strengthen your identity instead of weakening it. The easy option gives relief. The hard option demands effort, but only one builds capacity. Only one increases skill. Only one protects future opportunity. Avoidance feels light in the moment, but grows heavy over time. Discipline feels heavy at first, but grows lighter as you get stronger. Delay builds quietly. So does strength. If you want to preserve your potential, you must stop waiting for the perfect moment. Face what needs attention while it is still manageable. The longer you avoid it, the harder it becomes. There is a difference between being forced to grow and choosing to grow. When growth is forced, you react. When you choose it, you prepare. Preparing yourself before life demands. It is strategy, not punishment. Many people wait for pressure to push them. They wait for crisis to create discipline. They wait for difficulty to demand change. But crisis does not train gently. It arrives without warning. If you have not built strength beforehand, you will struggle to respond. Growth changes when you choose effort ahead of necessity. Waking up earlier than required is not just about time. It builds control. Studying beyond what is expected is not just about information. It builds focus. Training past comfort is not just about strength. It builds persistence. When you regularly stretch yourself, your limits move. You become familiar with effort. You get used to discomfort. And what feels familiar feels less threatening. Take early rising. No one forces it. There is no emergency. Yet choosing it builds self-command. It proves that preference does not rule you. Repeated over time, it creates stability. The same applies to learning. Studying consistently builds advantage. Knowledge compounds. Preparation builds readiness. When opportunity appears, you are not scrambling. You are prepared. Physical training works in the same way. Resistance builds strength. Repetition builds endurance. What once felt exhausting becomes manageable. Your tolerance for stress increases. Financial discipline follows the same pattern. Saving instead of spending. Planning instead of reacting. Delaying small comforts to secure larger freedom. At first, it feels restrictive. Over time, it creates options. Small acts of effort repeated consistently produce real returns. One focused morning improves a day.